Happy Wednesday to you all. Coming at you here live to close out the day. Beaming with energy, just wrapped up a 2-hour deep dive coaching session with my private clients. I'm fired up as always after any live coaching session because I freaking love what I do. But today's coaching session was a little extra special to me. And we dove deep into one key topic that to me is the theme for really what I want to help many of you guys with in this group as well going into 2022, and the theme that will allow you to create the outcomes that you want to create in your business in 2022 as well. And we're going to get into that here in just a second. But as we dive into things, as I mentioned in wrapping up that call, I had a few members come to me at the end of the session letting me know, Blake, this was one of the best live coaching sessions that I've ever been on, if not the best live coaching session that I've been on. Now, it's pretty cool to hear that and to see the clarity that came from the session itself, but ultimately the power that I put in the hands of our members after today's call as well. And that's to me what it was all about. Putting the power in their control, showing them how they can control their business, how they can be in control of their growth and be in control of their outcomes, understand exactly what pieces of the puzzle need to be in place in order to actually regain that control and maintain that control itself. And that's the topic we're going to be talking on today. How to regain control of your pipeline, regain control of your business, regain control of your destiny and future within your online business itself, and have fun with what you're doing daily. Because to me, oftentimes, many of us get stuck in the opposite mode, the uncontrolled mode, the mode where results are unpredictable and inconsistent, where initiating conversations feels awkward and funky, where we're split in terms of what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And as a result of that, more conversations feel awkward and funky. The actions that we're doing daily don't feel like we're actually moving ourselves forward. And disappointment creeps in and we get into our head more and more and more. And that's the core problem itself. It doesn't have to be that way though. The point is when we know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to do it with the small amount of window of time that we have in a day, we feel in control. We show up in our process with confidence. And we show up excited, ready to serve, ready to invite people to our offer, and ready to support our new enrollments and new clients. And sometimes it can feel like that's super, super far away with where you're at in your online journey. It can feel like, man, I don't know if I'll ever get past this hump that I'm on now. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get to the point where I can confidently present that offer. Know that I'm going to enroll X amount of clients this month. Know that I have control over how many leads I'm bringing into my business, how many calls I'm booking, and my pipeline as a whole. And when you don't have that, things become tough. You get into your head because you don't know. And the unknown creates a bunch of questions internally within us. And as a result of that, we end up typically jumping to the wrong things, trying to solve the wrong problems, and staying in the same spot itself. But what I'm here to tell you today is that that can come to an end. I'm going to show you exactly how. But it starts with, from you, making a decision. Making a decision that you are committed towards your future of building a sustainable and long-term successful online business. Making a decision that you need to arm yourself with the tools, guidance, and know-how that you need to get this in place. And to make the decision that you are ready to go all in and actually bring your goals to life. Because if it's just a maybe or hopefully or maybe someday kind of thing, I know that even my help in what we're talking about here today and what I'm going to be sharing with you here shortly isn't going to change much. But if you can give me commitment, and if you can show me that you're all in ready to make this change, I'm ready to show you how to regain control. But to me, it all starts with that decision from you. And that one decision has the power to transform not just the remainder of 2022 for your business, but the remainder of the direction of your future going forward with your online business itself. Because this stuff that we're talking about here today, when it comes to control over your pipeline, control over your process, control over your growth, this stuff doesn't fade away. This stuff continues to stick with you, and you continue to use this to continually bring in more profit into your business, create more growth. and level up going forward. And that's why I love this so much. I'm not here to share with you guys tactics that you can use tomorrow that become irrelevant 30 days from now. I'm here to share with you real sustainable skills that you can use not just now, but for years to come going forward, that you will continue to profit off of itself. And in today's coaching session, circling back to what I was talking on here early on in the call with my private clients, we dove a lot into what to do when you feel like, man, I don't know when that next sale is going to come in. I don't know when that next lead is going to come in. And you feel like every single day when you're in that mode, you're waking up trying so hard to make that outcome happen, but feeling like, man, I can't continue to do this grind going forward. And then at some point, you just get to the point where either you call it quits or you say it's time to jump to something else because I can't do this. But the truth is, each and every one of you can do this, and there's no easier way to do it than with Facebook. You just have to know how to do it correctly. And it starts with knowing how to actually genuinely connect with people. The problem I see is everybody's trying to avoid selling, like I talked about in my post yesterday. Everybody's trying to avoid doing activities within their business and within Facebook Organic as a whole because it doesn't feel right, because it doesn't feel comfortable, and because they want the easier way. But what if I told you the easier way is right in front of you? You just need to know how to make it easier itself. Many of you have opportunities in your pipeline right now that are ready and would be excited to jump on a call with you and chat about how you can help them. Many of you have foundations in place that are serving you and your prospects in your friends list right now or in your Facebook group right now, and indirectly creating opportunities for you without even realizing it. But the problem is, since you don't have this clarity, you don't have control. And when you don't have control, you look in all the wrong spots for the wrong answers, and you cling on to doing the wrong things and continue to see the same results. I think a large problem of that is it's the same over and over training that many organic coaches or mentors teach around the numbers game, around adding 20 friends a day and reaching out to all 20 new friends, around doing this and priming your feed and doing that. And we're so programmed in a way to feel like we have to do these things, and we are trying to do these things, but we're not seeing the results that we're seeing from others that are winning in this space. And we can't seem to figure out why that is. The cool part is some of the things you're doing are good, but some of the things you're doing can also be removed, allowing you to put more time towards the activities that allow you to regain control of your pipeline, of your sales, and of your growth as a whole. And when you understand this, showing up each day in your business, even if you have 2 hours a day, it becomes focused, it becomes clear, it becomes fun, and outcomes happen because of it itself. The problem is right now, many of you don't see the potential in that because you're not seeing the feedback loop in what you're doing. And more than anything, you're not knowing how to shorten that feedback loop and knowing what to focus on to make it so you can start to see outcomes from what you're doing come to life. You see, early on, when you're trying to grow your business, the feedback loop is the largest it will ever be because if in that first stage when you're just trying to figure out what to do, what product to sell, all these things, we're starting to take actions in our business, but it takes a while for the outcomes of those actions to come to life. And when that feedback loop is long, internally for us, we want it to be short. We want short-term gratification, quick wins, and we end up jumping to something else. But when we know how to shorten that feedback loop for ourselves, we know how to focus on just the few things that are going to allow us to move in the most efficient way possible, we become even less worried about the feedback loop, and we know we can show up confidently knowing that we are doing the activities that we need to and that we have control over what we're doing. And that one simple shift internally for you is the difference between showing up and authentically sharing your story, confidently going live, confidently having conversations, versus you hiding in the dark, wondering what to say, how to say it, and what to do. Certainty. That's what it's all about. Certainty and control. If we don't have certainty and control, we don't grow. But when we have certainty and control, we grow progressively, daily, with confidence. And again, that is what I want to give to you guys here in this group for those that choose to join me in what I'm about to share here shortly. To recap here, I'm going to actually pull up a quick map. And we're going to jump into, whoops, didn't mean to switch myself to there. There we go. So let's look at it this way. Let's look at it like two boxes. Stacking the deck. Not stacking the deck. Essentially what I mean by not stacking the deck is no control. I'm not just needing control over leads, control over your pipeline, but control over your business as a whole. Stacking the deck is knowing that we are stacking the deck in our favor in a way that we have control over the outcomes that we're looking to create because we have such pure clarity on how we can do the inputs that we need to regain that control. So when we aren't stacking the deck in our favor and we have no control, what usually happens is we're wondering where that next sale is coming from. We're indecisive. Spelled that wrong here. We're indecisive on basically all of our activities. On majority. We're second guessing ourselves. We don't know when the next sale is coming from. We don't know if this post is going to bring us leads, bring us sales. We don't know what to do to create opportunities today. And ultimately, we operate out of scarcity. And you know what happens when we operate out of scarcity? It gets taken to a level worse. We either start getting pushier in our conversations because we want these outcomes to happen so much, or we just avoid it as a whole because we just don't want to even mess with the mess itself. But on the flip side, when we have clarity on how we can actually regain that control and maintain that control, we know exactly what it takes to land that next sale and when it's coming. We are confident in the activities that we are doing in our business because we know what's going to come from those. And we enjoy the process as a whole. And now the word process alone sounds pretty bland, sounds pretty boring. But the process becomes fun and rewarding when you understand how to stack the deck in your favor. But when you're not stacking the deck in your favor, when you're operating out of scarcity, when you have no control over your leads, over your sales, over your pipeline, or over your growth as a whole, we're going to continue to operate out of scarcity, and we're going to continue to look for other things to try to resolve or put a Band-Aid on the problem that we're dealing with, and in turn just kind of stay in the same cycle, stay at the top of the funnel. And what this ends up blocking when we're not stacking the deck, let's look at it this way in terms of Facebook process. So we know it starts with friends, or let's say for those of you with the Facebook group members. To keep it simple here, we're going to start with friends. So we know the process begins with friends. These friends can come from groups, ads, sources on Facebook itself. So we're going into these groups, these ads, these different areas that our target audience is hanging out within, and we're adding these friends and we're working to move them into a conversation. Reach out to them. Problem is, everybody's programmed the way to feel like, I gotta add 20 friends today. I gotta reach out to all 20 friends. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And they feel so overwhelmed with what they have to do in a day that they lose sight of what's the most important thing. And because of this, their feedback loop gets longer and longer and longer. Their growth is slower and slower and slower. And they feel more down, down, and down. It doesn't have to be this way though. You guys do not have to add 20 friends a day, reach out to all 20 friends, and do what every other Facebook organic coach told you to do. It doesn't have to be that way. I can promise you that. I did not do this to get to over 500K, crossing 600K with my online business in 2 years' time, 2.5 years' time. But what I can say is when I went from 0 to my first 100K, I was still struggling with this. I was still lacking control of my business, and that was eating me up. And I knew I needed to figure this out. Because I was still sticking to this same method of adding 20 friends a day, reaching out to all 20 friends, trying to move them to a conversation, initiating the conversation. That's reaching out. Then from there, trying to transition the conversation. And the very small few at the bottom of that, I would end up getting through the volume of the numbers game itself. I would create some opportunities and get some calls booked. Present offers. And I would make some sales. I had to get to 100K somehow in that first year. And don't get me wrong, I still had fun doing it, but at the same time, it wasn't sustainable. The only thing that was fun for me was the fact that I was enrolling clients and being able to start to serve clients and support them and growing their business. But at the same time, the whole entire process was mundane. It was just frustrating because I knew that there's no way in hell that I can show up for the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years doing this forever. But for those of you even here watching now, when it comes to Facebook Organic, this is a vehicle. This isn't forever. You don't have to run your business on Facebook and do this process forever, never, never. This is a vehicle to get you moving and to open up more opportunities where you now have the bandwidth, the cash, and the headspace and the know-how to add on more layers and really start to build a business that isn't just reliant on one platform. But there's no better way to get your business off the ground and to 10K and 15K months than by solely doubling down on Facebook and connecting with people in Messenger. You just have to know how to do it correctly. And although I got to the point last year and getting that, or 2 years ago, when I hit my first 100K year, to the point where I could move people through this process, although it was pretty tedious, it was putting out the numbers game approach that I was taught. And I was able to move some people through this. A lot of people would ghost me here. I would get some calls booked, present some offers, and I was making some sales. At first, early on that year, it was a block here. And at this point, all my opportunities were capped off in a sense. Because I would bring friends in, but I didn't know how to initiate the conversation. I didn't know who to initiate the conversation with. And because of that, there was no way that I could ever transition the convo to business. There was no way I could get the call booked. There was no way I could present offers. There was no way in hell that I could make sales because nobody was moving past this point. Thankfully, I was able to figure this part out pretty quickly and continue to move down the line to the point where I started to actually figure out how to get some quality responses and build trust within that outreach message to the point where I didn't feel like I was being pushy or being a door-to-door salesman or just saying everything else that every other organic marketer was saying in outreach messages. But then the next block was here, and I was blocked on how to transition it to business. And then I got that down. And the next block was on getting calls booked. Make this line straighter. Until finally I got the process flowing for me, but the bad thing was that it was reliant on me playing the numbers game. Me going back, doing the same thing, adding 20 friends a day, reaching out to 20 friends, trying to transition to business, getting a call, but it was just exhausting. then this is what many of you are doing right now. And some of you may not even be reaching out to 20 friends now because you saw some resistance early on and it didn't feel right and you stopped. So whether you're trying to push past it, knowing that you're not seeing the outcomes that you want, or whether you're laying off the gas because the same thing, you're knowing you're not seeing the outcomes that you want and you don't want to be that pushy, salesy person, the point is we have to know how to make our pipeline flow. We have to know how to move someone from being a new friend to building deep, authentic relationships and trust without literally spending 2 hours in a single convo. To understand how to authentically transition it to business and actually get people excited to jump on a call with you and hear more about how you can help because of the trust that you built in this stage here. And when you can get this down, it no longer becomes a numbers game here. This numbers game gets eliminated. And in turn, you have control. You know exactly how to move someone from being a friend to initiating the conversation, to transitioning it to business, to actually having them be open to it because of the trust you built before that, because you knew how to effectively build trust itself, to where they actually want to get on a call with you, they want to hear about your offer, and many of them want to jump into your offer and work with you because they align with the fact that you're not BSing them, you're not like every other organic marketer out there saying the same copy and paste crap, and you actually care. And that's the difference between our business and many other businesses out there on organic. Many people don't care. And it's disappointing to see. But I promise you, what's going to separate your business from every other business going forward, and what's going to allow your business to actually see the light of day and create real sustainable success, is going to be knowing how to stack the deck in your favor and create control over your pipeline. Knowing how to create an opportunity today when your content isn't bringing you leads. You know, we talk a lot about attraction marketing in this group and the power behind this. You guys see it with the posts I put out on my profile in this group here. But the point is, it doesn't always come to this point. You're not always at the point where every post you put out is going to be gold with a bunch of comments. And especially for those of you early on, it's super tough to get to the point where you actually are bringing in consistent inbound leads off your content. You have to have the know-how and a strategy to create opportunities without just relying on your content to bring you leads, without relying on Zuckerberg to rank your posts and actually get engagement on it, to get people to comment and show interest. And if you don't know how to do that, you don't have control. What I want to do is show you guys how to regain control of your pipeline, how to eliminate the numbers game, how to actually have fun within your process, and how to take it from being a mundane, tedious process to being a simplified 2-hour or less process to 2x your number of qualified sales opportunities every single week, guaranteed. Without the numbers game approach, without being pushy, without having to knock on everyone's door that you had as a friend. Really by doing less instead of more. By understanding who the best people are to initiate conversations with. That is control. You know exactly who and how to initiate conversations with. And the cool part is you know how to do it in a way where it's not even salesy and remotely. It's in a way where they're coming back to you showing energy, showing trust, showing excitement, and you in turn are building relationships with people that want to buy from you and want to work with you. This is how Facebook Organic becomes fun. When we're just going through this process, numbers, trying to move people down the line, it's going to get old quick. Even if it's working. I'm living proof of that. When I hit my first 100K a year, when I was relying on this, like I just mentioned, yes, I could have did the same. I could have duplicated the same thing and hit 100K the next year. But the chance of me duplicating that again and again and again without burning out or hating my life would have been impossible. That's why I knew I needed to learn how to actually effectively regain and control my pipeline, know how to create opportunities when my content isn't bringing me leads. This way, my strategy is basically foolproof. I know that the control is in my court. I don't have to worry about Zuckerberg. I don't have to worry about Facebook. I don't have to worry about my content and bringing in leads on every post. I know that no matter what happens each and every day, I know exactly the few things that I can do within less than 2 hours a day to create opportunities, to build trust, and to get people that are actually excited to hear about how I can help them on the phone with me, present offers, and make sales happen. And that's what I want to help you guys do here in this group. So I've been talking about this for the last few weeks here now. And the day is close to being here very soon. Actually, within the next few days, we're opening registration up on an opportunity that's all about teaching you how to stack the deck in your favor, teaching you how to regain control of your pipeline, teaching you how to confidently and effectively initiate conversations, build trust, and create opportunities without feeling like a spammy, pushy door-to-door salesman, and how to actually enjoy what you're doing on Facebook and know that what you're doing is creating the growth that you want to create. And aside from the training that we're sharing with you to stack the deck in your favor and help you win and do all of these things that we're talking about here today, we're going to prove it with something that we have planned for those that join us afterwards to help you make your investment free. This isn't going to be a high-priced opportunity to jump into. I really want to show you guys and prove to you guys how powerful this is and how much more enjoyable business is when you actually are stacking the deck in your favor. So for those of you that want to join me and want me to show you how to stack the deck in your favor in your business, regain control of your pipeline, regain control of your business as a whole, and have fun doing it in less than 2 hours a day, then I encourage you to comment Stack the Deck below. By commenting Stack the Deck below, we'll reach out here in the next few days as soon as we open up registration. This opportunity will only be available for a few days, and then we're pulling it down for good. I'm doing this to over-deliver for you guys and to show you guys the power behind what I'm teaching here. And there's no reason why each and every one of you that jump into this and join this can't take the small investment that you put in and flip it into profit and growth within your first 15 days of doing it. And we're actually going to help you do that itself. Not to mention the profit, growth, and benefits that you'll receive from this for months and years going forward itself. Whether you're on Facebook Organic or whether you're moving away from Facebook Organic, whatever it may be, this will benefit you because this is all about how to actually connect with prospects and how to know what prospects to connect to and how to connect with less while creating more, how to communicate with people, build relationships, and get to the point where no matter whether you're at 0 or whether you're at 10K a month, people see the value in you and what you offer. That's what I want to help you guys do. So that's my rant for today on this topic. I'm super, super excited to get this in the hands of those that choose to join me. And again, those that want the details on this, as soon as it becomes available in these next few days as we open up registration, stack the deck below. Just comment those words, and we will add you to the list to reach out to you with the details as soon as they become available here shortly. Super excited for this. Can't wait to see the results that come from this itself. And with that said, I'm going to close out on that note. So thanks again for all that joined me on this live today and were watching, and I will see you on the next one. Hope you have a great rest of your week.